Welcome back, boys. We got another episode of the weekly recaps coming your way. Week 9 now in the books. A rather low-scoring week of fantasy. We had some bye weeks and some injuries to deal with, but we all made it out on the other side nonetheless. Nick, welcome back to the show. How are things going over there?
Things are going pretty well. If you guys can't notice, I have my background blurred out right now. Can't have Mr. Stein stealing any of my signs back here. So things are going well, though. Things are going well.
I didn't want that James Madison signal anyways.
Yeah, it's right here, bud.
That does also bring us, we have a guest joining us, Tyler Cleesby, owner of Glizz Mafia. Not getting the Kiffin Award this week, but very close to it, and has been one of the hottest teams in the league recently. Now sits first in the Michigan division. So Tyler, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us, and tell us how your boys are able to get it done this week.
Doing good, yeah. Thanks for having me. Per usual, I guess it starts with our receivers. They've been doing really good recently. Starts with the man AJ Brown. He's been on a tear recently, 17.6 points. He basically is the straw that stirs the drink, you could say. And then CD had a big game as well. Really helping carry us. And so did Amari Cooper, having a big game as well. Dalton Kincaid also, we want to point him out too. 10 catches for 81 yards. So big day of the receivers. And then Josh Jacobs as well.
All right.
Big day out of him. We love to see that, especially with Antonio Pierce replacing Josh McDaniels finally.
All right, very well put. Your team has been rather hot lately. What do you think is the motivating factor in the locker room that's got the boys so juiced up, ready to go?
Just internal motivation. We also did put down some pictures of the standings that Brenden Lemp tried to post before the season. So, that's just motivation right there.
And I know that you've had a couple of spats with, two people particularly in this league that I can, think off the top of my head. One of them's kind of irrelevant. You kind of just mentioned him. We don't really need to talk about Lemp. But we all know that Cooper loves to, poke you every chance that he can. With you two guys kind of seeming like, the favorites right now to make to the championship game, is there anything that you want to send off to PC Principal as it looks like you guys are kind of on a crash course here?
You're a towel, bud. Fuck you.
Love it.
All right, Tyler, thanks so much for joining us. And best of luck to your team the rest of the way this year.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
All right, on the flip side here, Francy Feast, not a bad week for them by any means at all. However, it would not be enough to get the job done as they ran into the monster in Glizz Mafia like we just covered. Derrick Henry was able to get 20 points. He is still showing signs of his prime self despite being ripe old age of 29 years old now. It's ancient for running back age, but he is still finding a way to get it done. And then Cade Otton coming out of nowhere, filling in the tight end role nicely while Kittle was on a bye. He was able to add 20 points himself. Chiefs defense getting 26 over in Germany, including one of the best plays you'll see on the season. Just a little bit, not quite enough behind that. But again, like you said, they ran into a good performance. They would suffer an untimely loss. They do still sit in the toilet bowl, but not much change for them this week. Moving on to our second game of the week, we have FaZe Kev, who was the team who did capture the Kiffin Award this week. They were able to take down the Philly Cheekles with a 153-117 victory. Josh Allen had himself a really good day, at least fantasy-wise, able to find the end zone twice, able to get 31 points. They would lose to the Bengals, but still able to put up some good production for FaZe Kev here. Austin Eckler with 21 behind that. Also really good. And then you see just a lot of good, solid scores in the teams to support that. And then Raiders defense adding 30 with 3 turnovers behind that. Put it all together. Was able to get themselves the Kiffin Award and on the week. And this team is definitely not out of the playoff race by any means. Right now, they're definitely down to their last life or two, but they currently now sit in the mediocrity bowl, so we're able to see if they're going to keep this momentum going.
Yeah, so I'm really happy to be able to unblur the back of my screen so that we can see this beauty back here now that the sign stealer is gone and I got nothing to worry about. So for the Cheekles here, the rails kind of came off with the Justin Herbert performance on Sunday Night Football. I know they're hoping for a big performance from him. That Jets defense is legit, holding them to only 136 yards passing, under 10 fantasy points normally isn't going to get it done from the quarterback position. The running backs here, though, did play pretty well. Jonathan Taylor, every week seems to, be getting closer and closer to the usage that we've seen as he keeps ramping up from his beginning of the season contract holdout / injury. Gus Bus adding another 2 touchdowns as he's been a nice find for the Cheekles here in this the bye weeks and injuries that have been occurring. Also wanted to shout out Stephon Diggs, recently acquired Stephon Diggs by the Philly Cheekles, putting up 22 points of his own and a touchdown on Sunday Night Football. But if you scroll through the rest of the lineup, there's not really many other wow performances that you can see. And when you're only getting, pretty good performances out of 3 players in your lineup, that's normally not going to beat a Kiffin every week. So for the Cheekles here, just sitting outside the playoffs, but they're going to need to start stacking some wins up here soon.
All right, moving on to our third game of the week. We had Canned Pams getting their ever trademarked sneaky Ranger victory. They were able to grab a 106-101 victory over WalllessPluto, dragging them into the toilet bowl with them. Ravens players are really the story for this team. Usually is. Lamar had himself a solid, not great day, but it was really the Ravens defense that would come to play for them, getting 30.5 against the Seahawks. Just absolutely shut them down all day. I had Kenneth Walker, so I was on the wrong end of that, unfortunately. Jerome Ford, 12 points, also able to put himself up a good day. But as you see throughout the rest of the middle here, a lot of single-digit performances. They were able to squeak out a win, so they'll definitely take it any way they can get it.
Yeah, only the Canned Pams can sneak out a 106.6 victory. Really quick before we get to WalllessPluto, I did want to touch on something for the Canned Pams here. Cam Akers did suffer an Achilles injury. So we do want to take this time to just wish him the best. The second Achilles injury for him in, I believe, 3 years. So just wanted to wish him the best as we know that he's going to have to go through a lengthy rehab process. Moving over to WalllessPluto, they had a decent start of the lineup. Joe Burrow played pretty well. Saquon Barkley, I thought, played pretty well. The one that really kind of let him down this week was Devin Singletary. Damian Pierce was ruled out, so Devin Singletary got around like 70 to 80% of the snaps in the game and really didn't do too much with it. Only 4 points. The receivers here also kind of let WalllessPluto down. Jamar Chase had a real kind of a weird injury. He still ended up playing the whole game, but if you didn't see, he fell out on his back. As it's reported that he's pretty sore this week. Adam Thielen with his lowest production game, I believe, since week 1, which is definitely not something they wanted to see. And also DK Metcalf with only 1 catch. As you already touched on, the Ravens defense just absolutely suffocating the Seattle Seahawks. And then to top it off, Jason Sanders, only 2 points with 2 extra point opportunities. Just stuff like that is not going to usually get it done. They had a chance this week with Lemp also only putting up 106 points, but definitely not a performance that would get you a victory in most, if not any week.
All right, moving on to our 4th game of the week. This one really disappointed us over here. Texas has 10-4. Yours truly. We fell at the hands of sticky mistakes in an opportunity that we really let slip up, 118-102.
Sticky mistakes getting a big win exactly when they needed it, which, what are we in, an odd number year or something? Started off with Jalen Hurts, 30 points as he came to play, 2 touchdowns in the air, and the patented push touchdown, leading off sticky mistakes here. Also, we had a Najee Harris touchdown on Thursday Night Football. Those are few and far between this year. It's actually the Steelers running game for the first time this year looked good. So shout out Najee Harris as he was able to find the end zone. Didn't really have a lot from most everybody else. Rashee Rice almost 10, Pittman just squeaking double digits, Pitts close, Hubbard right around 10. But the real shout out here comes from Justin Tucker. 15 points out of your kicker. Always a great week, honestly. If you could ever hit double digits, it's good. But luckily for sticky mistakes, was able to do just enough to squeak this important victory out here.
On the flip side here, Texas has 10-4. This is by far most disappointing game of the season so far. Just not a great effort at all. We did have a couple bright spots. Dak Prescott really came to play. 35 points out of him. He tried his hardest to will us and his real team to victory, but he would just come up short in real life as well. And same with Younghoe Koo, also a great performance. He hit 4 field goals and 2 extra points, got nearly 20 fantasy points, would also come up just short in real life. Steelers defense also had themselves a pretty good day, but just through the middle here, all single-digit performances besides Swift, just not good at all. I don't even want to go through it with that much detail. Just everyone better be ready to run and defend their job position this week with the trade deadline coming up. That's all we really have to say. And our 5th and final matchup, my co-host Nick Langley able to get a big victory as the Cleveland Steamers took down PC Principal 148-102, giving PC Principal their 2nd loss of the season. Nick, tell us how you were able to do it this week.
Yeah, so this was an emotional week from the boys as we are officially transitioning a lot of our pieces from our championship roster last year. We'll get a little bit more into that later. But it was a very emotional week, with the trade deadline coming up as well. And, we're not going to be able to make our patented playoff run here. But let's start off with a guy who was a former PC Principal member to start the year that we were able to get a couple weeks ago. Papa Shad, Rashad White, 2 touchdowns, 20 carries, the most carries he's had in a game so far this year. As he was really kind of our workhorse this week. We really needed every one of those points. So shout out Rashad White, really coming to play this week. We needed it. Also wanted to shout out the Packers defense. 26 points. I know that Stafford ended up not playing, so it was Brett Ripien, not the greatest quarterback in the world, but they really needed a get-right game after sending Rasul Douglas over to Buffalo, which I know sent a lot of shockwaves through the Packers organization. So it was a great get-right game for the defense. Wanted to shout them out. And also wanted to round it out with our boy Deontay Johnson, 21 points this week. We've been talking about him the past couple of weeks. He's most likely on the move at the deadline here. A lot of very poetic justice, in my opinion, for him to find the end zone in this game, a game when we really needed him. First time he found the end zone in a year and a half, as he had one of the longest droughts of receptions without a touchdown in NFL history. So poetic justice there for Deontay. Really needed those points this week. And, just overall really happy with this team's grit and getting this victory here.
All right, on the flip side for PC Principal here, this was really just a down week and what was otherwise been a great season for them. Their 2 Miami players, Tua and Tyreek, really just not having their normal days. Not terrible by any means, but not enough to carry them to victory, especially considering no one else on the rest of their team was able to get 20 here, as you can see. A lot of scorers in the teens or even single digits. Wouldn't that add up to be enough? They would find themselves in the loss column, but not much to worry about over there as they still sit in first place. And with that, we're going to take a look ahead at the Week 10 schedule. Yours truly, Texas has 10-4s, now sit at 5-4. This is a big matchup for us going against Glizz Mafia, who's now first in our Michigan division. We're going to need to take them down and keep our playoff hopes solidified because we have the Philly Cheekles behind us chasing, and they are taking on PC Principal this upcoming week. PC Principal actually with the chance to claim the division and a playoff spot with a victory in this one. And then third matchup, FaZe Kev 4-5 taking on the Canned Pams at 3-6. FaZe Kev has been hot lately. They're on their last playoff hopes. We'll see if they're able to keep them alive for one more week. And then fourth matchup, 2, 3, and 6 teams looking to get some toilet bowl seating sorted out. Fancy Freeze taking on Cleveland Steamers. Nick, a quick word to your boys before this upcoming matchup.
Hey, it's a Francy week, baby. We all know what we're playing for.
All right, and then fifth matchup, WalllessPluto sitting at 3-6, looking to get back in the Mediocrity Bowl. They're taking out Sticky Mistakes, sitting at 6-3. And we'll take a quick look at the standings. Glizz Mafia now first in the Michigan division with the tiebreaker on Sticky Mistakes, both 6-3. We are sitting at 5-4, barely holding on to the playoffs right now. And then Francy Feast and WalllessPluto currently in the toilet bowl at 3-6. In the American division, PC Principal still in first at 7-2. They have a chance to put it away on the Philly Cheekles this week, who are 5-4. FaZe Kev behind them at 4-5, and then the toilet bowl Canned Pams, Cleveland Steamers at 3-6. Then we did have one big trade this past week ahead of the trade deadline this upcoming week. Nick, would you like to break down this trade before we sign off in 60 seconds or less?
Yep. So we all know we love Stephon Diggs, hoping the best for Stephon Diggs and his new championship run. Really didn't want to get rid of him. Philly Cheekles were able to pay the price point that we had set out in order to acquire him. So definitely want to wish Stephon Diggs the best of luck. We feel like we're in a transition period, so we wanted to get as many assets as we can moving forward to kind of look at the next couple of years as opposed to this one that we're currently in.
All right, very well put. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to another weekly recap video. Make sure you come back next week. We'll give you all the week 10 action. And yeah, peace out.